Welcome to the Schwartz Advisors Report from Aftermarketnews. I'm Maddie Weiner, and today I'm joining you from the Apex show floor with Keith Zar, Managing Partner at Schwartz Advisors. Keith, thanks for taking the time today.
Good morning, Maddie.
Yeah, thank you. So, Keith, we're going to dig into some questions around consolidation in the aftermarket, particularly in the WD space. You know, many owners right now are considering their options. So what should these owners be thinking about and planning for when considering a sale option?
Well, there's three overall issues that really come to mind.
Okay.
First is, do I want to sell my business? Is it time to sell my business?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of things that go into that. Second, if it is time to think about selling or exploring your options, what do I need to do or think about operationally with my business to make sure it's ready?
Right.
And third, in addition to the operations, what financially do I need to think about in terms of the financial performance, financial statements, et cetera, of my business?
Right, right. Okay, very interesting. So you mentioned, is it the right time to sell as one of those things? How does an owner know when it is the right time to sell?
Well, it's one of the, if not the biggest decision that a business owner is going to make.
Right.
So you think about, well, where am I at in the life cycle of my business? What's the trajectory of the business? And how does that mesh with my personal plans and my family plans? Mm-hmm. You may think about, well, do I have a succession plan? Which some people do, a lot of people don't. Is there family in the business that wants to continue? And does the succession, you know, the son, daughter, do they want to continue to own a business for the foreseeable future?
Right.
Do they want to continue to work in the business, or are they doing something? Are they doing something else? Mm-hmm. You know, and what are your personal goals at this point? You know, you probably have been doing this for many years, and are you ready to retire? Do you want to keep going? Okay. Where are you at in terms of financial security? There's just a lot of things that are personal, but you have to juxtapose that with, you know, where am I at? Where am I at with the business? And you always, you know, and we talk to a lot of folks, say, well, you know, I'm going to be ready in a couple of years, which actually might be a good time to start thinking about it. But one thing you want to do is you want to, if you're going to sell your business, you want to do it while hopefully you're still on an upswing.
Right.
And not while, well, I've been doing this a long time, I'm coasting. Mm-hmm. When you start coasting, sometimes the business may start to lose a little value, et cetera. So again, a lot of things to think about. And it's a very personal decision.
Right.
But but you can organize these things, and we help a lot of folks organize their thoughts around this.
Yeah, kind of along the line of organizing things around, you know, getting ready to sell or even considering. What should an owner plan for in presenting their business to potential buyers?
Well, first, operationally, you have to think about, well, what does my business look like from the outside? Yeah. You know, you know, you've been working in your business, enmeshed in your business probably for a number of years. You try and take a step back, and what does it look like to the outside world, or particularly a potential buyer? Yeah. And again, thinking about specifically about WDs, you may have a number of locations. They have storefronts, warehouses, et cetera. Yeah. So how does the business present itself? Are your warehouses, are they organized? Mm-hmm. Are they clean? Are they orderly? Are you well organized with your parts, your shelving, et cetera? So kind of how does it look?
Yeah, like on the outside, the appearance.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Every buyer's going to come, they're going to look, and they say, does this meet kind of the standards that I'm thinking about?
Yeah, right.
When I have my businesses.
Right.
So there's that. And then there's your physical assets. And especially for WDs, a big part of your business is your inventory.
Exactly.
You take pride in your inventory. You know, you have a huge selection, but is your inventory, is it up to date? Do you have the range of products that folks are looking for? And we find in particular, when you get very, you run your business day to day, sometimes you don't focus on kind of the tail end of things.
Yeah.
Are there things you should be organizing, getting back, returning to the vendors, et cetera, because you want things to be as clean as possible. And then with the rest of your assets, are they generally up to date? Is there much that somebody's going to have to do in terms of maybe capital improvement or anything coming in to look at your business?
Right.
And then last, you have the key with any business is the people. So
Yes.
are you well staffed? Management. Do you have a good management team? What are your particular plans for the future? If you sell, do you want to stay with the business for some period of time? And if not, and this is very important, do you have management that can basically do everything that you do? And are you fully and right-sized staff, et cetera? So those are all the kinds, and these are things that on a day-to-day basis, you may have time to think about, but maybe you don't have time to think about.
Yeah.
So if you're considering your options, it's time to think about those things.
Yeah, it seems like, if someone's looking or even considering, selling their business, it's a very, I guess, sort of reflective time of, not only for them, but also like reflecting on the company, like where are we, where are we going, what do we have to offer type thing.
For sure.
Okay, very interesting. Yeah. So you mentioned employees, having a good management team, but just employees in general. I know owners, obviously, of course, want to consider their employees in these situations. But I guess my question is, should they be concerned?
It's when we talk to business owners, one of their main concerns, like literally one of the very first things, is what does selling mean for my employees, my management, my staff?
Right.
And it's a major consideration. But the interesting thing that they don't always think about is that it's one of the major considerations for the buyers.
Oh, okay.
Because, as opposed to what you hear maybe in the broader M&A market, in our business, all the buyers are concerned with, they want to buy a business that is going to continue without a hiccup.
Yeah.
They want the management, they want the employees, they want everybody to stick around.
Right.
So, and they want everybody to stick around, and what we find is that they stick around at compensation and benefits that are at least as good as they have now. Certainly everybody really in our business tries to take care of their employees really well, but so do the buyers, and they think it's really, really important. Also, and we talked about a couple of minutes ago, it's important to consider what you as the owner want to do, because at the highest levels, the buyers don't want to bring in like a new general manager.
Right, yeah.
And if you as the owner want to continue in a capacity, in a senior capacity for some period of time, they're usually thrilled with that. Or potentially you have another generation, son or daughter who's working in management and wants to continue.
Yeah.
Buyers are thrilled with that. And it works out, it generally works out really, really well.
Oh, very interesting. Okay. So, what does an owner, you mentioned financial information, what does an owner's financial information need to look like? Do they need like audited financial statements and things like that?
No, they do not, which is, it's very important to understand you don't need to have, a big time CPA that's done reviews or audits or things like that. But what you do need to have is well organized books and records.
Okay.
A buyer in addition to operations, what they're going to actually value their business on is your financial performance.
Right, exactly.
And so you need to have books and records that are organized enough so that a buyer can come in and say, because they'll go at first look, all right, based upon the high level financial information you've given me, I'm going to give you a value for your business.
Okay.
And if we agree on that, we're going to come in and the buyer is going to do a significant amount of financial due diligence. Mm-hmm. It's not quite an audit, but it's close to it. They're going to really look and see to make sure that what you've told me about your business is accurate.
Right.
So, it can be on QuickBooks. We have like $50 million businesses that run on QuickBooks, and that's great.
Yeah.
But as long as your QuickBooks is organized properly, it's the categories are correct, etc., that's going to be, that's going to work out well. And that's actually an advisor, financial advisor, can really help to kind of preempt that before a buyer comes in and look, to help the business owner take a look and say, okay, this makes sense. What are these categories about? This this series of expenses, it's not coded. What is this?
Right.
So you want to ask all those.
Yeah,
you want to ask all those questions now.
Yeah.
And because the last thing you want to do is that, we made X millions of dollars last year, and the buyer comes in and they do a lot of homework and they say, no, you didn't really.
Right.
And that's not the time you want to find these things out. So, it's important organizationally and financially, just really spend a little time and make sure things are in order.
Yes.
And that goes a long way toward advancing the process.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And very good advice there, that's for sure. So any other important things to, owners should think about that maybe we haven't mentioned in our conversation?
I'd say actually one of the most important things is, if you're thinking about your options or you're not thinking about it, to operate your business as though you're going to own it for the next 20 years. Don't, people really, they don't really take their eye off the ball, but sometimes there's just a tendency to, I'm not really in growth mode anymore. I'm not really pushing, keep at it.
Yeah.
Because what buyers want to see, whether it's today or a year from now, is continued growth potential of the business.
Exactly.
And, we do, for better or for worse, we talk to a lot of potential sellers. It's okay, I've been at it, I've been doing great, but I'm easing off a little bit. But sometimes that's reflected in how the business is doing as well. And while the business is still doing fine, it's not necessarily on the growth mode that it used to be. And that all goes to the value of the business. So whether you're selling or not, kind of keep looking at those things. And even the things we talked about, operationally, financially, every once in a while it's great to just take a step back. And am I thinking about how my business would look to the outside, to the outside world, and continue to put my best foot forward.
Yeah, sort of keep reevaluating where you are. And very interesting. Well, Keith, I've so enjoyed our conversation. I've learned so much. Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Maddie. Good to be with you.
Thank you.